Nicholas, our savior.
Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello? All right, let's get this next person up here. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. Let's get
Tap
this
screen,
next
everybody.
person up here.
Tap, tap, tap.
I just added that person up and they were not here. Let me try this next person. Give it a second, everyone. Keep tapping that screen. Keep sharing the live. Liz, thank you so much for the fireworks. Thank you so much. I
Thank you for the
appreciate that,
jelly,
Liz.
thank
Thank you so much. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
How old?
They
Oh,
left.
he said
Okay.
15, I think. That's why I was like, what the fuck?
All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. All right, all right. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump.
Oh, hi, Bugs. One of my haters. Love them.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, sorry, man. I don't know. I must have hit the button. You're the best, Walker. Good
You're
job.
good. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
36.
Did you vote Trump?
Yes.
Why so?
Because I knew it'd make you mad, and angry Parker is a sexy Parker.
What?
That's it.
You wanted to make me mad?
Yeah.
Why?
I think he said because
That's-
you're sexy when you're angry.
Yeah.
I think that's what he
That's
said.
it. You have a hot, angry face.
So like because of that, you're willing to vote for a guy who's held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman?
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
That's pretty wild. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah. Damn.
That's a first. Yo, what's up? Did you vote Trump?
Guys, he's at 300,000. Tap the fuck out of your screen.
Thanks, Positive. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate
Love
you.
the beard.
Yeah, WW. Aaron, thank you so much. I appreciate the $1. Thank you. You probably
Hello?
would. Rachel, thank you
Hey,
so much for the
Judger.
$2.
How old are you?
44.
Did you vote
Nice.
Trump?
Yes, I just have to ask you one question, Parker.
Go ahead.
When your girlfriend tops you, do you say daddy?
Like, what is this weird? What are these weird questions, bro?
This is not like a podcast where we can discuss those things.
Yeah, dude, what?
Like, I'm open as anybody, but like, goddamn, like,
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
we are Christians.
We're
52.
Christians here. This is a Christian Minecraft server. Yo, what's up? Why'd you vote Trump?
No, I didn't.
Jamal
I just
got me.
want to thank you for what you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Jamal got me, Parker.
This is a Christian Minecraft server.
I don't
Anyone know that
engage
meme?
in those devilish acts. What are you talking about?
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo, Parker.
Did you vote Trump?
Yeah, fuck you, bro.
Dude, you're not.
Fuck you too.
Like, what state do you live in?
Australia.
Australia is not a state, dude. Wow, dude. No, he wants Trump to annex Australia too. Canada and Australia will be the next states. Justin, thank you so much for the $2.22. Thank you so much.
Why
I
is
know,
it
right?
always- sorry, guys. Yeah, Justin, I agree. Thank you, Justin, for that.
Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello?
Hey, Logan, you there?
All right, let's get the next individual. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. Apparently, Myron Gaines agreed to debate Dean.
Myron did?
Bro, I gotta text Dean. Like, please get me in that.
Where'd he do that at? On X?
Let me see. Bro, please get me in the Myron debate. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay.
Oh, yep. Dean just posted it. I think you showed me the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank
That's gonna be a really fucking funny debate. Dude, he's gonna be so insane. Yo, James, how
Can
old
you
are
hear
you?
me? I'm 21.
Did you vote Trump?
I did.
Why so?
Immigration is my top concern, and I voted based on my top concerns, so voted for him.
Okay, so you said immigration. Okay, so how do you feel about Donald Trump calling people in Congress to undermine a bipartisan border bill?
I believe that the bill that was torpedoed by Donald Trump is not a good bill, so I'm glad it didn't pass, and hopefully the new administration passes a tougher one.
What was bad about the bill?
I think that the 5,000 encounter level is too high, and the 8,000 level encounter is too high for mandatory executive powers. That was primarily my disagreement with the bill. There were some good aspects to it, of course, but I would rather a stronger bill.
I don't know if I accept those numbers that you're referencing. It depends on what you're referencing, encounters or crossings. But in terms of that, right, even if we were to accept those numbers, isn't having a cap better than not having a cap, under your view?
Yes, it's good to have a cap, but that cap's too high. So I don't know why anyone would vote for a bill that allows for a cap.
Then you can get a new bill that has a lower cap, right? After you pass this one.
Yes, but Parker, the political reality, if you pass a bill on immigration and then afterwards say, well, what we passed is not good enough, let's pass a new one, you're not going to get people on both sides of the aisle agreeing on the issue. So you have to use the opportunity of having the issue.
Yeah, you would. Oh, so then what you're saying is that you want to exacerbate the issue so that people are more likely to get a more conservative border bill. Now, that seems like you're willing to risk people dying at the border in order to be able to get better border policy.
Well, that seems like quite an illogical conclusion to what I said. I think that what the Biden administration did with regard to immigration prior to it becoming a crisis, like eliminating the Remain in Mexico, even though it affected a small number of people, it does signify the rhetoric that the administration was bringing. And then you had to have Kamala Harris go. Yes, that's why you had Kamala Harris.
Why did Trump wait until 2019 then?
What do you mean wait into 2019? I would argue that most of his policies softened immigration after 2018.
So wait, say that one more time. Sorry.
Trump's immigration policy softened after 2018 when he talked about amnesty as part of his immigration policy. Prior to that, he never talked about giving people amnesty. And when he started talking about that, his immigration
you're not understanding my point. So you said specifically that he ran on the border, or I mean, you agree he ran on the border being an issue as an issue, right? And you understand
both
that
campaigns did, yes.
Yeah. So in 2016, he ran on the border being an issue, right? And when he ran on the border being an issue, he also at that same time, right, at 2017, didn't implement the border policy until 2 years later. They remain in Mexico. So why did he wait until 2019 to implement that border policy?
Oh, because when he was running for president, he didn't know what policies needed to be enacted. What he had was strong rhetoric. And again, in terms of immigration,
policies need to be enacted. So he didn't have a plan.
Well, you can say he didn't have a. Well, he had a plan of toughening the border up and building a wall and increasing resources for the border patrol, which is why
the bipartisan border bill would have built the wall more than Trump ever built under his administration.
But okay, do you want to talk about 2024? Or do you want to talk about 2016 Trump? My whole point is that immigration is a topic of concern to me. Well, I'm not here defending Donald Trump. I'm here defending the reason why I voted for him, which is he's going to be tough. You are defending
Donald Trump by
I'm defending
for him.
I defended the reason why I voted for him. I voted for him because I want tougher immigration, and the only person who's going to bring tougher immigration, and the only party that's going to have a debate on whether or not the 5,000 or 8,000 counter level is too high is the Republican Party. The Democratic
undermined that. Trump undermined stricter border legislation, and you said I didn't want to support that stricter border legislation because you don't think it gets as strict as you'd like. So what makes you think you're ever going to get the policy that's as strict as you like? Because people are not willing to support HR2. People are not willing to engage with the other side, right? If you're not willing to engage in compromise.
Well, currently he won the election, so we have to wait to see what him and Tom Homan will do. Yeah, it's good luck. But again, he won the election running on this issue and many other issues. But on immigration, he's clearly tougher than Kamala Harris. Do you not agree to that basic idea? You think she's tougher on illegal and legal immigration?
I think she is because that she actually cares about the issue. If it was the case that it was the other way around, she would have still supported policy, right? That would have helped people in need.
Okay, so my idea, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that Kamala Harris is a part of her campaign. She wanted to, in terms of immigration, one of the things she supported is that people that have come across illegally, those who have not committed crimes, are given a path to citizenship. That is not something I heard Donald Trump talk about at all.
I would love that. I don't even think. When did she bring that up? Because I would love to hear that she brought that up.
Oh, I forget the interview, but I'm, and if not, Hillary Clinton ran on it in 2016, and you're supposed to pay a fine for all the back taxes you've never paid and all of this. But I disagree with that notion. I don't believe that people should be allowed to come into the country illegally. So I'm going to support the people who try to stop that. I'm not going to
Oh,
agree with
okay.
everything
Wait, so you
that
don't
side
think there should be
does.
a pathway to citizenship for people who are here in the country undocumented? Well, then I'll ask you this question: how do you identify that someone's undocumented and engaged in mass deportation? How do you identify?
Oh, I don't work in the government. I'm not going to carry out mass deportations, but it's quite easy. When someone's pulled over currently right now and they don't have the proper documentation, many of them are
Yeah,
detained and
but
then
they have to be
released.
pulled over, so there has to be some type of means before then. You can't just go up to random people and force them to give up papers without there being
Well,
probable cause.
New York had stop and frisk without probable cause, so the thought that the government can change or modify laws to do that is absolutely
Wasn't that found to
ridiculous.
be unconstitutional?
Well, it was determined to be unconstitutional, but who did that? A court? I mean, these things can change. The law is the law until it changes and turns interpreted in a different
Well,
way.
no, I think the reason why it was found unconstitutional is because the Fifth Amendment is pretty clear.
Okay, the Fifth Amendment that applies to United States citizens. So if you were to ask,
No, actually it doesn't. The Fourth, Fifth, Eighth, Ninth, and 10th apply to all citizens of all countries because we grant them to, because it doesn't say the word citizens, it says all persons. And so it goes to everybody. Only certain ones, that's why migrants in this country have
legal
due
or
process
illegal?
rights. Both. They have due
Well,
process rights.
But I think it's quite dangerous to conflate the two because legal immigrants have a path to come to this country that illegal ones don't. People who come here illegally, we have no idea who they are. And yeah, if the cops, hey, for example, Tyson, the 2019 the Trump administration did it. Tyson had massive rage on their plants, and ICE patrol went
Yeah,
and
that's
they
legal.
identified.
I'm not saying that's. I'm not saying that's not illegal.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Well, sorry, maybe not pull over, maybe not the Fifth Amendment. Okay, well, the way to do mass deportations is workplace raids, ensuring the people aren't hiring people illegally, deporting those who are found to have a crime,
What,
and
do
also
you
people
hold
can
businesses
report.
accountable?
Yeah, of course.
So people like, hasn't Trump hired undocumented immigrants?
If you're referring to the Polish workers he hired in 1980, yeah, but again,
So
I'm
then
not
should we
defending
hold
Donald
him
Trump.
accountable?
If there are laws in the books to hold him accountable for what he did, then yes. But of course, you're kind of sidelighting the point. Yeah, we should be going to companies and finding illegal workers, taking them out of those companies, deporting them, and then finding the companies an absorbent amount of money for hiring people illegally. I don't see how that's. I don't see what your point is against that concern. I mean, you try to go back to Donald Trump. My concern's with immigration. That's why I voted for him.
Okay. So
You want to talk about his.
I mean, again, you're not talking about any way that would specifically be able to fulfill Trump's goals, right? And
Yeah, I mean,
deporting
doing
20 million
raids,
people.
like the ways that they have said so far, which is going after the known criminals, which I agree with. Okay, so that's easy, right? Going after known criminals. Then, but then the other things, which is like revoking the legal status of legal migrants here. I think that's bad. I don't know
Who
why
said
he
that?
would
When
want.
did he say that?
Sure.
Who said that?
Tom Homan and Donald Trump went to revoke the parole
You mean
status.
TPS?
Yeah, I mean,
You mean
like for example, the Haitian migrants. They want to; those are legal in this country. They want to revoke their status and just get rid of the program. That would then lead them to have to be deported. I think that's a bad idea.
I think it's a good idea. I think anyone who applied to asylum with the CBP1 app, which was used to, schedule merchandise across the border and is now used to, schedule asylum appointments. I think that's wrong and it shouldn't happen.
Well, no.
Yeah,
Why would you not want to process their claim and see if they can then get into or then be in this country on another a type of visa or something because they are in here doing the work that real Americans don't want to do. Like there's a reason why the Haitians were going to the factories and working their ass off and were like revitalizing small towns. I mean, there's a reason why that was happening. And now those towns are just going to suffer.
Are you referring to Springfield, Ohio?
I mean, that's one town.
Well, I think when I've heard the argument of Haitians filling up the work and revitalizing the community of Springfield, Ohio, I think it's quite telling when that community has so many people come in and the president-elect now goes on a debate stage and attacks that community, and somehow the county where that city is, Springfield, Ohio, overwhelmingly votes for Donald Trump. If they're loving the integration of all these people, why wouldn't they say, "Oh wait, this guy's just a racist"? We're loving these people. Trump just a racist. Let's vote for
You ever
Kamala.
heard
We
of the
realize how good they are.
what's wrong with Kansas problem? Have you ever heard of that?
There's many things wrong with Kansas. I don't know.
No. It's a very famous phrase. Have you ever heard of that? What's wrong with
I have
Kansas?
not.
Okay,
What's
it
wrong
means
with
that
Kansas?
people often vote against what's best for them. And just because the people in Springfield voted for Donald Trump does not mean that the Haitians there are actually providing the work that they need, because every single business leader, the mayor, all of them have said that the Haitians are doing the jobs that these
other Americans
do not want to do. And when they leave, those factories are going to either have to find new workers or they're going to have to shut down. And I guarantee you, no American will want to do those jobs because they couldn't fill those jobs prior. So that's going to happen anyway. And so these small towns will suffer, and that's the effect of what's wrong with Kansas, because people often vote against their own self-interest. Why do you think some of the poorest regions in the country, right, voted for Donald Trump or vote for Republicans? When I talked to them, I had a neighbor of mine who was on food stamps and on Medicaid and voted for Romney in 2020. Why? Because Romney wasn't going to touch their Medicaid or food stamps because Obama was a Marxist and was going to take it away from them. Right.
Well, that seems like a good anecdotal fact, but I would agree with Bernie Sanders that the reason why the Democratic Party has lost support of the working class is because they should not be surprised that the working classes abandon them.
It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with people attributing inflation to the incumbent president.
Well, that's part of it, but I would definitely agree that if Kamala Harris were talking about giving people health care, if she were talking about raising the minimum wage, if she ran a campaign on true democratic values, I would have considered voting for her because I think the minimum wage has to go up.
What are true democratic values?
The fact that if you looked at any interview she had when she was asked about the economy, she gave the same answer. She never talked about raising minimum wage in an eloquent way and talked about the importance of having a livable wage for all Americans. And also, by the way, the reason we want to have a higher minimum wage is also so companies can't hire illegal labor. You seem to be fine.
Trump want to raise the minimum wage?
I didn't interrupt when you were telling me about Kansas and all these things. So I would hope you not interrupt. Donald Trump doesn't want to raise the minimum wage. Again, I didn't vote for him because I want that to happen. I voted for him because of immigration, because every top issue that the Democratic campaign ran on was abortion and somehow an opportunity economy. They lost the values of the Democratic Party. Where is the passion for workers about improving our infrastructure, about improving our industrial base? We are shipping off our labor to other countries and importing people to our own country to work the labor. Hey, what about the blue collar Americans that built this country? What happened with them? Can we not do things to help them? For example, tariffs to incentivize domestic production. These are all things that have to be done. But somehow saying, oh, well, yeah, the people in Springfield, Ohio, they're just too stupid and they vote against their own interests. Of course they want Haitians there. They're not helping them out.
No, I never said they were stupid. I said what happens is people don't know. It's uneducation. It's a lack of basic education. Because which party in the last 40 years consistently and with enthusiasm, right, proposes legislation and actually passes legislation that will help the average worker? It's always the one party. It's never the Republicans. Never is.
And why didn't Kamala Harris run on that? Why didn't she talk about workers?
You're talking about like a messaging problem, not an actual policy problem. Okay,
yes, and messaging is quite important.
Educated people should not, educated people, which I think you are, you sound educated and everything, and so you should be able to see through the rhetoric and know that as Democrats, they have consistently and through every administration since the fucking 60s, they have proposed working class legislation, whereas the Republicans do not. Which is why, if your problem is with rhetoric, right? Rhetoric doesn't matter because Donald Trump speaks bullshit every time he opens his mouth, but yet people still vote for him for his policies. Why can't you apply that to?
Because then you don't understand what rhetoric is. If you think that rhetoric is everything that a candidate utters, it's not that. Rhetoric is what they're. If you think of Kamala Harris, if you think of Donald Trump, what do you think of? When you think of Donald Trump, someone who's tough on immigration, you can think, oh, liar, bullshit, or whatever. But on policy, you think of someone who's strong on immigration. When you think of Kamala Harris, the first thing people thought about was abortion. Messaging is important because her rhetoric is what's going to lead the campaign. If she runs on improving healthcare and Medicare and all these issues, or providing a Medicare for all option, if she runs on that, if that's the messaging of it, then people will hold her feet to the fire to actually implement those policies. When all she runs about is abortion and opportunity economy, she's going to lose. So again, I had one person who's from the party that's supposedly supposed to help working people, but I never hear anything about helping working people. I just hear about how Donald Trump's a racist and how
child tax credit, $25,000 tax credit specifically for people who are getting a first-time home buyers.
That was a
And then
terrible policy.
$50,000. No, it's actually a good policy. What's bad about the policy?
Because if you want to incentivize people to buy homes, you should guarantee them a lower rate on their interest so they can afford to buy a home.
The interest rates are from the Federal Reserve. Secondly, as it relates this provides an incentive to produce new houses.
Yes, I understand. First of all, I understand how interest rates work, but the government can give loans to people the same way they give loans to students. They can give loans for houses that are not done through banks and do not have the fixed interest rate.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be applicable to people who might not be able to pay it off?
Isn't it applicable for $25,000 tax credit for someone who can't afford to pay off a home?
They have to qualify.
Again, could you not have qualifications for a lower interest rate, which is a much more prudent way of doing it, rather than, $25,000 off of $400,000 homes? Yeah, that's really going to help you guys out. It's not even going to help with the down payment.
It provides an incentive for specifically for production of these houses, and it helps with the down payment. If you're saying it doesn't do enough, well, then would you like a higher tax credit?
No, I would like it. I would like the interest rate policy, which has been used in the past,
which again is not determined by the.
I get yes, but for student loans aren't determined by the Federal Reserve. They are done in a different way. The government could create a mortgage system that works in a different way. That seems to be effective. $25,000 house, tax credit when you buy a home is not going to do anything. It's a terrible policy.
It is going to do a lot.
This is why this is one problem though with the way that Trump is going about it. Because let's say hypothetically that Trump was to propose that, right? That will then conflict because that's a regulation. Right, that's a type of regulation, and Trump wants to cut regulations, and so now
you see how okay. Enough with the red herring. Oh, that's a regulation. Trump's again regulation. So is Trump not going to pass any laws because they all count as regulation, and he's anti-regulation? He's of course talking about stupid regulation, which Obama also addressed. Milk until the Obama administration was qualified as an oil.
You just interrupted me, by the way.
Well, I interrupted you because you were going into a nothing tangent. Oh, yeah, it's a regulation.
No, I have a point to make because I was going to talk about Doge and Elon Musk wanting to cut $2.1 trillion, which is going to have to involve some form of housing, healthcare, things like that. And so if Trump is going to propose all these working class regulations, bills, whatever you want to call them, right, that conflicts with one of his main person's goal of getting rid of wasteful regulation. And you can't get rid of $2.1 trillion without cutting a lot of shit, right? That was my point. So if you didn't interrupt me, I could have made that point.
Well, that's a great point to make. But again, I don't know how guaranteeing a lower interest rate, which is being paid back with interest, just lower than the Federal Reserve to the federal government, is somehow viewed as, oh, no, that's a terrible policy because it's regulating the housing market. And he ran as someone who's
we don't know because Elon Musk hasn't said a damn thing on it. And for some reason, Elon Musk is in charge of now what a good regulation is versus what a bad regulation, what a bad one is. So I don't know, right? All I'm saying is that he has policy conflictions.
Are you against
if he were to do that?
Are you against the idea of the Department of Government Efficiency?
Not the idea, against the people who would be at the head of it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, you're not in favor of having Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk heading that
administration? No, because I don't think just because they're business leaders doesn't make them adequate to go through government and decide what's best and what's not.
But will you not say that it is a positive development that this department has been created, and then when perhaps a new Democratic president is elected, they can use that with people that you support to cut federal spending?
Well, it's not even a department. Like those only made by Congress. So if anything, it's just two people forming like a small committee to decide to like do something and then propose it to the president. But it's not.
Wait, are you against it or are you not against the idea?
I'm against it in how it's being practiced out.
Yeah, but my whole point is that the fact that it's been created opens up the opportunity for then people who you agree with to use it to help make the government more efficient.
Only if it's made through Congress. The way that's been going about is wrong because it's literally nothing. It's not a department. It's a committee of two people who are deciding to like propose something to the president. That's not a department. It has to be going through Congress. So if if Congress proposed a Department of Government Efficiency and then had a whole regulation list, had a mandate for them, all that kind of stuff, then sure, I'd be against that. But that's not what's happening here. It's Trump giving two rich billionaires the power to then go through the code and say, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, based on what they think is bad, when they have no expertise in government or in government oversight.
Sure, yeah. So your idea is, hey, Congress, we're going to create a department to limit your overspending and all the stupid decisions you make with money. Who do you want to appoint and how do you want it to be run and what do you want to do with it? That's not the point of it. The point of it is to address the issues that Congress has. The point of it is to address the federal government, the judicial system, the executive branch. I guess that's the same thing as the president, and the legislative branch. That's the point of it. The point is not to be controlled by Congress, because Congress is part of the issue that they're trying to address. Congress overspends on everything. They just sent $700 million to Ukraine, even though the Speaker of the House announced that when Trump's inaugurated, they're not sending any more money. So why are they sending these last Hail Marys? That's a waste of money. That makes no sense to do it.
Then it has no teeth. Because without Congress, then it has no mandate. And so once Elon Musk...
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. If they're an advisory committee to the president, they could recommend the president take executive action to address some of these issues. That is absolutely something that's within the confines of the president to do.
Yes, and the actions that he could take are vastly.
But you just said he couldn't take actions
that are vastly limited, because in order to cut the required amount, I don't know who that was sent to. Sorry. Because when you have to cut that amount, it must go through Congress. It must. And so they can propose as much as they want to Trump. Trump is limited in what he can do. That's why I said it has no teeth, because the only way that it has teeth is that it goes through Congress.
Yeah, if we have to wait for Congress, the body with a 20% approval rating to get anything done, the country
then you have
is
a problem with the Constitution. Sorry.
No, we have. Yeah, and I do, and of course I do. I have a problem with, by the way, with not the Constitution, with what they've done today. Direct elected, people are voting for senators. That's not the way the country was founded. If you have a problem with the Constitution,
you don't like.
Perhaps we should talk about that.
Yeah, and the way that the way that U.S. was founded was also that black people had a 3/5 of rights. So don't give me that bullshit about the founders wanted this.
That wasn't it. No, well, that wasn't in the Constitution. That was how
actually it was.
Practiced.
Parker, can you pull up the 3/5 compromise and find where? I think it's Article 7. So James, you're wrong.
That was in the founding Constitution of the United States.
Yes, the 3/5 compromise. I think it's Article 7.
I thought that came way after.
Yeah, it was an agreement reached during the 1787 Constitutional Convention.
Yeah, and it's in Article 7.
Okay, well, fine. That's obviously something that clearly is wrong. But when it comes to, hey, the way we want the Senate to function is to be elected by Senate, by state legislatures. That's something.
No, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that your logic is flawed, because you say, well, the founders wanted this, and I say, yeah, well, the founders also wanted
Article 1, Section 2,
but I'm saying your
I'm
saying your logic is flawed, because you say, well, it says so in the Constitution. The Constitution, when it was written, it was intended for senators not to be directly appointed.
No, I'm saying Article 1 lays out what it is. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's what it says. That's just what it says.
So you think the executive branch has no overbearing over the legislative branch, so that's why the vice president is the president of the Senate. You don't think there's any interlinks between them, or that sometimes the president can use emergency?
What's the vice president's role in the Senate?
Tie-breaking votes primarily, and
primarily, yeah. And he's also the presiding officer, right? That's his constitutional duty. Other than that, he has no teeth.
Exactly.
Other than that, he has nothing.
Yes, but the Senate and the way it functions has changed over time. So somehow we say, oh, we can't regulate how much Congress is overspending by, because it has to be determined by Congress. Well, we can change that. My disagreement is with the Constitution. The good thing is that it's not the first time there's been a disagreement with the Constitution, and things can be changed.
That, yes. You are proposing that we make a new amendment to the Constitution that says that Congress doesn't have the sole legislative power to propose budgets and stuff. It's something that I actually think is right, because I think the power to make budgets should be in the hands of the people's representatives, not in the president, because I don't think a president, whether they be Republican, Democrat, Whig, or Socialist, I don't care, should have the executive unilateral power to determine where the power of the purse goes to. That sounds very bad for me. So I actually like the way that we have it now, because it gives the power to the people's representatives, which is the House.
They've been doing, and exactly. And the House has been running everything great. The country's obviously not overspending by $2 trillion a year. The country's doing great. I'm very glad that Congress has this power. The country seems to be going in the right direction with all these congressional authorities.
Your problem is with the people in Congress, not with Congress itself. And if you want to blame that, blame the voters. They elected these people. So, you know, like,
you know who they
the
also
problem
elected?
is
You know who
with
they
the
also
voters.
elected? You know who they also elected? The man who said he was going to create a Department of Government Efficiency to go after corrupt government officials that are, you know, stealing money from this government, essentially, amount of embezzling that this country goes through. Jesus Christ.
You're
So yeah,
right, but
yeah.
that
So
person
so wait,
is
are the voters
limited.
stupid? But
But
see,
that
you're making two
person,
arguments that don't make sense.
no,
On one hand,
but that person is constitutionally limited. I think for the gloves is constitutionally limited by Article 2, and so they can't do whatever the fuck they want. Which is why I said that if you're upset, then you're upset with the voters who voted in the House members. But Trump can say, "I want to
no,
do this," but
you seem to be the one upset with the voters who have said, you know what, I'm going to elect a man who's been convicted of felonies, who says he's going to go after government waste. Let him go after government waste if there's
It's not just
constitutional
government
issues.
waste. He was held civilly liable of sexually abusing women. He tried to coup the country. He restricted women's
Yeah,
access to abortion. He denies science as it relates to climate change. He bragged about grabbing women by the vagina without asking. Bragged about walking into changing rooms of naked teenage girls because he quote unquote owns the place. You're just like, oh, he just wants to go after fraud. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, well, what the fuck are you talking about? You just talked about all the. Well, by the way, we're talking about his felonies. The sexual assault thing was not a felony, by the way, but we can go into the lie that was. She accused everyone about
The
sexual
felony
assault.
was the falsification of business records, and no, she did not do. She did not say everyone.
No, she's accused. She accused another 10 people of the same.
No, she
thing
didn't.
that she
Give me a
accused.
single source that indicates that, buddy.
Oh, I'm using my phone to go on the stream, but you
Go
can
ahead.
obviously
I'd
look
love
that
to
up
see
anyway.
any source. I'd love to see any source that indicates that.
Okay, well, fine. Again, you're very good at doing these sort of things where we're talking about policy and we're
And you're
having
very
an in-depth
bad at arguing
conversation.
why Trump is good.
See, well, you're very snarky, Parker. No wonder people love you for that. But the
You're
funny
welcome.
thing is, Parker.
Do you need a safe space?
No, I don't need one. But thank you for interrupting, Parker. The
You're
point
welcome.
is, on one hand, the voters are too stupid to get rid of the people in Congress that are not running things effectively. But on the other hand, they're appointing someone who's saying we're going to go after that system. But, oh, we can't because of the Constitution, and we can't because voters keep voting the same disgusting people into Congress. But when they vote for the man who's saying he's going to address those issues, oh, it's a constitutional issue. When it's
Yes.
not that, it's the fact that it's the voters' issue. So you don't seem to have a
No,
concern.
I can give you exactly what the problem is. Exactly what the problem is. It's because most Americans cannot distinguish between Article 1 and Article 2. If I were to go up to most Americans and ask them, what's the difference between Article 1 and Article 2, they would have no idea. And that's not just me saying it out of my ass either. We have verifiable data where we ask people basic constitutional questions and they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know it at all. So they could vote in Trump with those policy ideas that you just talked about, and they think that Trump can unilaterally do it. Why? Because we have a broken civics culture within this country.
That's a different, but yeah, exactly. And that's a different argument. But the main point is that the man who was elected by the American people told him, I'm going to go after corruption. And you seem to have an issue with that.
No, I'm saying he's limited constitutionally in how much he can do. Okay? If he wants to go after corruption, fine. That's his prerogative, right? But he's still limited in what he can do. He's not going to unilaterally just fucking slash $2.1 trillion from the budget. He's not going to be able to unilaterally do
He's
this
gonna add
and this
more.
and this. It's that if you want real change, you have to go through Congress. You just have to. That's the way the system is. Okay? And so Trump can make change, but it won't be lasting change because the next president will be able to just come in and then just be able to undo it.
Yes, and that's why, the American people also gave him the Senate and gave him the House of Representatives, and hopefully they can address it through them. And if not, executive action will be taken. I don't see how that's like such a mesmerizing thing for you to understand.
The executive action is by default temporary. And so I am actually not in favor of those actions. I think the president, since the 70s, does it way too often. Way too often. Why?
Do you
Because
think the president has too much power?
Yes.
You disagree
Yes, I
with
do.
Joe Biden pardoning his son?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Parker, do you agree with that?
Do I disagree with Joe Biden pardoning his son? I would say I disagree with it, but I don't think it's that big of an issue.
I understand why he did it.
I
but
understand why he did
it's
it.
an abuse of power.
I disagree with you both. I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but I think it was perfectly within reason for him to do that. So I think you guys have a misunderstanding.
He said specifically that he thinks that you shouldn't be over the law. Like no one should be.
My
above the
problem
law.
is not with, as a father, him doing it, because I understand why he would do it.
But why do you have a problem with it if the Constitution grants him those powers?
I was just about to say it.
You seem to love the Constitution.
I'm saying no, because I am an institutionalist. I go back to what did it mean when the founders were debating the pardon power, because the pardon power is a unique feature, unique to us. No other person, no other president, no other person in a democratic system has a pardoning power. We are unique in that, right? And the founders knew that. And the founders did not contemplate, when you read their works, they never contemplated somebody pardoning themselves, pardoning their families.
That's not true.
Things like
That's not true. That's not true. That's why impeachment is the only thing you can pardon yourself for. A president can pardon himself from crimes, but he cannot pardon himself from impeachment. If he's impeached, then he can't. Yeah, yes. You can look it up. You can fact check.
No, he can. I'm saying they never contemplated that would be happening, because they had this lofty idea.
But why is there specific language saying you cannot use it for impeachment, but you can use it for anything else? If they thought of the possibility of a president being impeached and using it for himself, do you not think they would have used?
I can answer that. I can answer that.
Feel free.
Yeah, because other members of the government can be impeached, and so he can't pardon other members of government who were then impeached. That's
including himself.
Sure, but what I'm saying is that
so they were forthright enough to have the observation that this is a possibility, but family
listen to
members
Matt. Listen, James, can you listen to Matt?
Look, all I'm saying is, and this is very simple. All I'm saying is, when you read the historical debates that the founders were having, right? They never brought up. They brought up a whole list of reasons why the pardoning power should be granted, right? And but they never mentioned, right? They said it could be used here, 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 and here. This makes sense. This makes sense. They never considered that it would be used to pardon the actual president himself or pardon their family. Like that was never brought up. Why? Because they probably had some lofty idea about the president being above it all and blah, 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 right? But all I'm saying is that wasn't talked about. Now, could he do it? Yes. Yes, he could. Right? But what I'm saying is, from a pure historical, pure constitutional matter, I consider that to be a big power grab. That's a thing that should not be done. I do not think presidents should be able to pardon themselves or be able to pardon their family, because that's a conflict of interest. That's my
point. I completely disagree with you. I understand the way the Constitution is written, and I understand that in a way the president should be held to different understanding than most people. I think that the presidential family, the first family, they should be held to a different standard than most Americans. That is why they're elected to run the country. I mean, to say, oh, well, yes, he should go to prison because, whatever, a gun charge and taxes. Yeah, he should pay the taxes back, but the president's son should not go to prison. Obviously. How bad is the optics of that internationally if the United States throws the president of the United States' son in jail?
Donald J. Trump, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much.
Once again, I agree with you. I agree with you in all ways except in the actual way that he used it, right? I think Hunter Biden was being prosecuted wrongly, right? I think he was at first being charged
like Donald
very
Trump
leniently. No, this is different because he was being charged very leniently at first, and then his plea agreement got thrown out, and then the judge went like full balls on him and just like threw the book at him, right?
Well,
that's what I say.
Yeah, because the plea agreement they reached was completely unfair. Yeah.
That's what the judge said. I said, so it swung from one pendulum to the other, right? And I think he was being unfairly targeted because his name was Biden. That's what I personally think.
So you think it's possible for our judicial system to target someone because their last name is Biden, but when it comes to Donald Trump, it's not possible for the judicial system to target someone because their last name is Donald Trump?
You didn't ask me that question. No,
I'm just asking my opinion. I'm just trying to make logical. Would you agree with that or not?
Yes, I think Trump can be targeted. And in fact, I would say on one particular case that he had, it was a flimsy case that should never have been brought.
You mean the Georgia one or which one?
No, I think it was the one with Stormy Daniels. I have long criticized that case.
The 34 felony one?
Yeah, even though he is a felon, I thought its legal basis was shoddy. I thought it made no sense, and I don't think Alvin Bragg would have brought it if his name wasn't Trump.
Well, we seem to agree
and that's
there,
my opinion.
But you see how it's interesting to go on a debate stage and you make that point. But Parker, when he goes on his spurred outs and just blurts out, listen for a second. When he blurts out all these things, a 34 count convicted felon, it's all about the talking points. But then you go out and you say, well, I disagree with him getting charged on those 34 felonies because the legalese behind it is quite dubious. So you see how it's kind of interesting to have a conversation where when I talk to Parker, the first thing he brings up, you mean the 34 count felon guy? And when I talk to you, I disagree with that.
That's actually not the first thing I brought up. One.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Two,
No, it's
we
one
can
of no,
have
it's one of the
differences.
10 things.
James,
It's one of the
can
10
you like
things
can you
you
like
ranted
listen
out.
for a second, or
I
do I
can.
have to listen to you yap and ramble the entire time, and then you can't listen to a single sentence come out of my mouth? Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. So again, we don't have the same opinions, beliefs, and everything, right? He did just say that he's a felon. He did just say that he's a convicted felon. That's true. He is a criminal, right? That is true. For
And I
Standard,
think it's
but we can
lawful
say
too.
that
I don't think it was like unlawful.
yeah, we could say that like out of all of them, we might disagree with this the most.
So you
Yeah,
disagree with that?
all I said was that it's based on flimsy legal work that they had to really stretch to make it work, right? But I'm not a lawyer, and so I'm not going to give you big legalese about it. All I know about the case is from what I've read and what I've studied, and I think it's based on shoddy legal work. That's my opinion, right? Parker can disagree with me.
100%. But my main concern is that I come here onto the debate thing. We're talking about Donald Trump, and one of the main points of attack is that he's a felon because of the
I'm gonna
flimsy law that
fucking
they.
go insane. It is not a main
You
point
can
of attack.
okay when you go out and you say,
We talk about the sexual abuse.
assault. Yeah, the
That's
sexual
a
abuse.
different
But
fucking
by
case,
the
moron.
yes, the only evidence for that case, by the way, was her word against his. That's
No,
the
it
only
wasn't.
evidence.
Wait, what's her name?
E. Jean Carroll, is that her name?
Name one piece of evidence in the case that you dispute.
That she got
John, give a description.
sexually assaulted in a changing room in a grocery in I forget the Saks Fifth Avenue. I forget what it was. Not a grocery store. I forget the name of the store. Bergdorf's Goodman. That's it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
That she
give
got
it to him
assaulted
that.
at Bergdorf's Goodman by a
What?
billionaire in a dressing room.
What'd you
Like,
say?
who
So
can
you shouldn't
believe
have given
that?
it to him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So again, you just said that who can believe the story, right? What do you dispute within the case?
That a woman was assaulted by a billionaire, and when the billionaire had his own TV program.
Why do you dispute that?
and
Like,
you
what
could-
reason in the
I
case do you have to
just
dispute that? You just said you don't
because
feel
for
like
no
it.
yes, because for no reason at all, she never brought it up, and I think that if someone commits
Wait, there are
assault against you,
plenty of victims take decades to come out. John, think of the roses.
yes, but not opportunistically when the person is running for president, or when the person's
I
president.
don't see how that's She didn't gain anything from opportunistically coming out from this.
No,
There's nothing.
She gained.
If anything, what she's doing in this particular.
No.
Shut the fuck up. If anything, what she's doing in this particular scenario is holding someone accountable so that they can't do further irreparable harm to the country, right? When it is the case that they have a greater ability to do so. So that could be a motivating factor, and that could be a totally genuine motivating factor. Now, do I think that is the motivating factor? Actually, probably not. But I do think that even if it was, it doesn't indicate anything bad on her behalf.
So what
or
do you
that
think
it's
is
wrong.
So what do you think was the motivating factor?
Yeah, I think the motivating factor is the fact that her family members weren't alive anymore, right? And that he defamed her.
Did he? And he defamed her after because he said the accusations were false. Correct.
It wasn't just him saying the accusations are false, but yeah, he
called her a name that I'm not remembering, but that's why
he said that
sued
she's not
him.
the chosen one, and that he wouldn't have sexually abused her because she's quote unquote not his type.
Yeah,
Well,
there was multiple things.
yeah, regardless of how inappropriate that language may be, I don't believe that assault can take place. You think if billionaires walk into Bergdorf Goodman's and go to the changing room and start assaulting women, and then they don't say anything, even though well, thank you for interrupting.
Definitely
Thank you for
possible.
interrupting. But yeah, but no, not when they're a public persona. They have a TV show. When they're a billionaire, they don't. It doesn't come up. Only when the person somehow is.
It did come up. It did come up. She literally addressed it with multiple of our friends, and the story was consistent over multiple years.
She addressed it, but she never addressed it publicly. She never.
That doesn't mean she doesn't have to do it publicly in order for there to be a story that's consistent over decades.
Yeah, you can obviously talk to your friends. Oh, hey, I'm going to say that the president did this, and we all hate the president because we're all from New York and we're far left wing.
It's all that they just hate him. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think
not the fact that this actually just happened, right? That's not possible. Even though he lied about the state of events, he said that they wouldn't have sexually abused her because she's quote unquote not his type, but then in a deposition mistook her with his ex-wife.
Also,
Justin, thank you for $2.22. Thank you so much.
And also, let's connect this. Do you agree, James, that Trump used to walk into the changing rooms of young girls?
When he owned the Miss Universe, Miss Universe pageant, that he walked into people's changing rooms unannounced. I don't know that. I wasn't there.
Well, do you believe, because he said it himself on Howard Stern? So you believe the president-elect, right? You believe what he says, correct?
That he said he walked into a changing room. Did anyone press charges? Did they feel assaulted?
No, hold on. That's not what I asked you. All I asked you was, do you believe that he walked in the changing rooms of Miss Teen USA pageant members? Because he himself said it. Like, it was no two ways about it. He said it on Howard Stern. So do you accept that?
Do I accept it as a fact? If you're telling me he said he walked in there, I'm not going to argue with his own
Okay.
words. I don't know.
Okay. Do you accept also that Donald Trump would grab women by the pee?
I accept that he said
Opinion
when
on
you're
that.
rich, when you're rich and famous, they let you do it. Meaning, if you're
Okay,
rich and famous and you approach
do
women,
you-
they're going to
but-
reciprocate, which is 100% true.
But do you? But do you agree that he said it and therefore he probably likely did it?
Yes, but he didn't say he assaulted them. He said
That's
when
not
you're
what I
rich
asked
and
you. All I asked you was,
yeah, he was.
Do you
Yes,
accept?
was he sleeping around? Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
then,
Donald Trump is not Jesus.
Do you also agree? Do you also agree that he has said things to young girls and to women that are of a vast sexual nature and can be considered very, very inappropriate?
Yes, but I'm
Okay,
not defending Donald
then
Trump's character here.
Then let's all add all this together. Why is it then, taking all the facts of the case together, why then is it so hard to believe that a man who grabs women without their consent,
That's not
man
true.
who walks in, okay, no, he said they don't leave. He never said that, like he asked them if he could do it. So
He
yes,
says they
without
let
their
you do
consent.
it. That is literally consent.
Letting somebody
They
do
let
it does
you
not,
do
no,
it.
letting them do it does not mean giving
That does not
consent.
imply consent.
That does not imply consent. That's one. I think for the galaxy. Thank you so much. Two.
So wait, you think?
No, hold on. I'm making my point. It is not hard to believe that a man that grabbed women by the pee without consent, who walks into the changing rooms of young girls, also without their consent because they can't fucking consent, and three, makes inappropriate sexual comments to his own daughter, to young girls, and to women, would then therefore maybe sexually assault a woman. It's not that far of a jump when you combine all those facts.
No,
it's not a big jump.
It's not a big jump when you frame it like that. When you frame it like, hey, yes, when a billionaire celebrity says, when you want to hook up with people, they let you do it. If Ashton Kutcher said that, no one would be arguing with him.
No,
because it's true. Celebrities have a.
If Ashton Kutcher did everything that Donald Trump did, no, yes, I did. But if Ashton Kutcher did everything that Donald Trump did, said it and did it, everything, guess what? I would be saying, yeah. Like if he had a grape allegation, yeah, then he probably did it. Because you know why? The facts of the case lead me to that conclusion.
Okay, well,
because
the facts of the case don't lead me.
character.
Okay, well, that's a fine assumption to make. But when you frame it like this, he's a billionaire who can sleep with anyone because, hey, shocker, when you have money and power, women are attracted to that. I don't know if you knew that about women. So, yeah, someone who can really sleep with anyone he wants, who's dated multiple models throughout his life, is not going to risk his reputation and risk his freedom by going to jail to sexually assault someone who's ugly at some, like, Burdock Goodman's changing room.
She's not ugly. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, have you seen pictures of her during that time?
Yeah, and I don't think
she wasn't ugly.
I don't think a billionaire who was hooking up with models all the time because he was such a dog would risk that lifestyle to sexually assault someone.
All you're doing is proving my point about why Trump should never be in the throes of power, because you're just giving me more evidence, because you literally just called him a dog.
So
like he would chase women around in this gross ass manner. Like you're literally proving
that is not what being a dog is. A dog's not that you're drooling behind women. A dog is a man who likes to chase and pursue women, which is why he got divorced. I'm not defending this character.
Yeah,
the only reason I voted for him was
he's a fucking
immigration.
serial adulterer.
Okay, now so you come here with that preconceived notion. So obviously
he
the idea
did
that he would
you disagree that he cheated on all of his wives?
Yes, I know, and I don't disagree with that. I disagree that he sexually assaulted a woman at a Bergdorf Goodman's at a fucking mall. That's obviously ridiculous. He was a billionaire. He wasn't going to a mall, let alone on his own, let alone to sexually assault someone in a changing room. I mean, it's ridiculous. What, did he grab her by the hair and pull her in the changing room, or what?
In 2001, it also would have been totally ridiculous for me to say Donald Trump would say on a hot mic that he grabbed women by the P word and he doesn't even have to ask.
That's
would
not
be
what he said. That's not what he said. He said, when you're rich, they let you do it. Right? They let you do it. You can grab them by the pussy. Meaning, when you're rich and famous, they let you hook up.
I like
how
he looks up to Trump and he like thinks he's good.
I don't look
you
up to
say
Trump.
that with glee. Like
he
I don't know.
Like
it's.
No, I don't say
I'm sorry, but that's fucking
just
disgusting. That they let you do it. Maybe because you don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand like power differentials. So nasty.